गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Any amount of inquiry, logic, arguments about the world will never give you any solution, because all of us are perceiving the world from our standpoint, and unless we have the knowledge to look at a thing from all the possible standpoints, our perception of the world will not be complete. And whenever we have incomplete knowledge, and with that incomplete knowledge, when we live as if it is a complete knowledge, then all the problems of life are born. For example, this story I told you in Hindi, this is the English version. There were two persons. They were coming opposite, and there was a very nice palace, and in front of that there was a huge statue of a lion sitting. So these two people came, and when they came nearer to the statue, both of them exclaimed, "What a beautiful red lion!" The other one said, "What a beautiful yellow lion." Now the fight began. What do you think? Am I a fool or what? I don't understand. Am I colorblind? You are calling the red as yellow, and he says you are calling the yellow as red. Started fighting. Argument, logic, and try to prove how it is yellow, how it is red. And in that argument and shuffling, first argument becomes verbal, then it becomes physical. Such behavior is called as parliamentary behavior. You know, in the parliament, this is how they behave. So they ended up in the parliamentary behavior. And in that, their position was exchanged. So when their position was exchanged, the one who was seeing the red lion, he started seeing the yellow side, and the one who was seeing the yellow lion, he started seeing the red side. And after they have understood their fallacy, both of them started laughing and hugged each other. So, we all have problems with reference to the situation and the world, only because we are not ready to change our standpoint. Only reason. And thereafter, we want to see that our standpoint should be accepted by others. This can never happen. And as a result, husband is not ready to understand the problem of the wife. The wife is not able to understand the problem of the husband. So, wife should understand the problem of the husband is wife. And the husband should understand the problem is the wife and wife's husband. All the problems will be dissolved. But we are not ready to accept it. One more example to make this point very clear. Once you get it, then you will see, you will laugh at the world. There was a teacher, and he was a drawing teacher. So he kept few things in the center. One flower pot, one teapot, cups, flowers, some fruits. And in the center they are kept as object for drawing by the students. And these 12 students were made to sit in 12 different positions. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. In this manner, 12 students sitting all around. And they were told, come on now, start drawing. 1 hour time. So everybody was busy looking at it, how it looking. Start. And after 1 hour, time over. Now, who is to evaluate them? So the teacher, being intelligent people are lazy. Because they don't have to find excuse for being lazy. So, he thought, why not make the students themselves evaluate each other? So, he decided, let the student sitting at 12 o'clock position hand over his paper to the 3 o'clock position. The 3 o'clock should hand over to the 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock to the 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock to the 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock to the 4 o'clock to the 7 o'clock to the 10 o'clock to the like that. So, 3 different, he has shuffled the paper. Then he said, now please evaluate and give your ranking. All the students saw the other person's paper and there was a common evaluation. All were wrong. Because the student, what he is seeing from here, he is unable to understand that from the other point how it looks like. So from his point of view, whatever is presented before him, other than his point, everything is wrong. And when this happened, so he collected the paper, the teacher, and saw one by one, wrong, 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 wrong. So the teacher said, how it can be wrong? And then he himself started seeing. This is right, this is right, this is right. All 12 of them right. Then the question came. When I as a teacher is able to tell you it is right, how come you tell it is wrong? See the problem. But see, we are not able to understand. Then the teacher told the students, okay, you take the paper which you have evaluated, now change your standpoint. So from 12 o'clock students should come and sit at 3 o'clock and look at the object and then see the drawing. Then he comes to know, oh, it is correct. See? Now, the teacher is wise as regards the drawing is concerned. And what is his wisdom? His wisdom is, he is able to be in his position and yet he is able to appreciate the different angles from where, how the thing will look like. See how important it is. And as a result, for the teacher, everything is right. And for the half-educated person, everything is wrong. Now, in our life, who is the teacher and who are the students? So, God is the teacher. In Gujarati, there is no God. God. While we were coming, we saw one painting. And it was looking very funny kind of thing. It was looking as if somebody's pant is put there hanging. Then, hey, who has put the pant there? We saw, oh, it was not a pant. The paint was peeled off. I said, then it is the same thing. When a Gujarati calls a pant, it becomes a paint. Gussa mat karna baba mujh par. Do you know we are in majority here? Relax. If you really want to enjoy life, don't become tense on any issue. Only that mind which is relaxed can discover solutions to all the problems. On the contrary, tense mind is the birthplace of all the problems. Relaxed mind is the solution. So, when this teacher was able to appreciate all the standpoints, he is wise. Because he is able to appreciate what it is like from every angle. Now what happens in our life? We take a fixed view. And when we take a fixed view, we become obstinate and we are unable to appreciate what is what. Therefore, there is only one way, and the way is learn to appreciate the standpoint of others. The moment you are able to appreciate the standpoint of other, your misunderstanding will disappear once for all. You must have read The Murder of Mahatma, a very good book by Gita. If not, read sometime. Wherein Mahatma Gandhi's murder case was tried in Shimla. And this Nathuram Godse did not hire any liar. So, he was advocating his own case. I don't think he was lying his own case. Okay. And after the whole thing was over, Gita writes in his book that if the audience was given the freedom to take a judgment after listening all the proceedings, he says, all the people would not have suggested that Godse should be hanged. See? Everybody has got his own standpoint. We become biased from one standpoint and hold on to that. And this is how the parties, the sampradaya, the various kind of differences are born. The day you are able to give up this kind of biasness from your mind, everything is so perfect in this world. Nothing is wrong. But we don't want to change ourselves. And when the frustration mounts in a situation like Arjuna's, then we go to Satsang and Babaji and expect. What we expect? Babaji should do something so that what I want should happen. The other day, one Amma came and asked, Swamiji, I have been listening to you regularly, you know that. I said, yes, I observe, I kept the attendance register. And you come regularly, thank you so much. I give you 100% attendance. When we go to Satsang, we don't oblige everybody, it is our need. So, after that, Swamiji, my daughter comes sometimes, yes, today she has come, very good. Why don't you tell her that she should get married? I said, Amma, if that was the priority, first I would have got married. So you are telling me to suggest to your daughter get married. If you suggest me, please advise her. So advice is possible only before marriage. After marriage, we can only pray to the Lord. Oh Lord, please save them. See? So when we go on the spiritual path, we start imagining this thing. That if we have become spiritual, the world around us should change. It can never happen. It is something like, if I have started taking tonic on regular basis, all the people in my family should become healthy. How it is possible? So if I am listening to the satsang, the world will not change. Because even after I listen to the satsang, I don't change. This is the thing, the world will change without listening. And therefore, it has to be very clear in our mind. Don't have that illusion. Then I go to some Babaji and Mahatmaji and then thereafter, he did say like this thing and everything changed and therefore he is good. Don't get lost in this self-deception. Anybody who wants you to change so that you grow up, he is your real well-wisher. And those who say, don't worry, I will take care of you, they are deceiving you. Grow strong. Don't be a weakling. One lady the other day asked me in Delhi, this thing can happen only in Delhi. She came, she said, Swamiji, I am brigadier in something Lal Pila Hara. These are the titles in Punjabi. Amuk Lal, Amuk Pila, Amuk Hara. So, Swamiji, I am brigadier in so and so. Will you please tell me that I should not smoke? I said, what kind of funny thing you are asking? If you tell me, Swamiji, tell my husband he should not smoke, I can understand. But I should tell you that you should not smoke. I said, no, Mama, you look so sweet when you smoke. I feel as if it is a mobile agarbatti stand. So keep on. Because it doesn't cost me anything. And it looks so nice. There you are going all around, like, the Odomos fumes coming all around you. Become visible. Swamiji, please be serious. Please tell me I want to stop smoking. I said, now you be serious. I am not going to tell you. You can't purchase me. If you have to stop, you stop. Why ask me? Swamiji, aap jab kahoge, tab ho jayega. I said, forget about it. I am not going to say. Then I'll keep smoking. I said, who cares? Money is yours, health is yours, death is yours. I am not going to change. So if you want to die, you die. Who cares? She was so frustrated. Only once you said. I said, no means no. Her husband came. Swamiji, why don't you tell her? She's so much crying. I said, did you tell her? Swamiji, I don't know how many times. Did she listen to you? No. Do you know why I am not telling her? For one reason. She has to discover her inner strength. Spiritual growth is not becoming a weakling. Spiritual growth is you grow within so strong that the world appears weak before you. That is called as spiritual growth. Very important. I said, today I tell her, stop smoking, she stops smoking. Throughout her life, she will be a liability and a load on me. Anything to be done? No. Last time Swamiji told to stop smoking, I stopped. Now I really don't feel. Now I want to go to London. Husband is not taking. So I tell Swamiji, then it happens. I will become her secretary for everything. Swamiji, मुझे वहाँ जाना है, क्या करूँ? Think. Therefore, grow within so strong, then you are nearer to your real self. Therefore, when Arjuna was presenting all these problems before the Lord, Lord was just listening. And all that he was doing was, he doesn't want to leave his standpoint. Now see the three characters that we have seen. Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan and Arjuna. All three of them were obstinate with reference to their standpoint. In Bhagavad Mahapuran, that Prasanga topic comes. When Vidurji goes and tells Dhritarashtra that, look here, this is the time you should control your children, you should not do this, you should not do that. He doesn't listen. And he says, all that you are telling, I agree. But as regards implementation concern, I cannot. What is the use of that agreement which cannot be implemented? Think. And this is what happens in our life. When we go to Satsang, we agree with everything. Yes, Swamiji, you told so wonderful. Today you were hilariously terrible. But after we go back, take out our chappal from our thela and get into it, again back to square one. And then what happens? We are simply carrying the load of knowledge. Please understand, knowledge is heavier, wisdom is light. We don't have to live under the influence of the erudition and scholarship. We have to live in an atmosphere of light and wisdom, because wisdom alone is light. Very, very important. The other day, I was talking to somebody. I learned Sanskrit from one Shastriji. I never knew ABCD. He was teaching in English. For other mediums I don't understand. Seriously. I learned everything. Very beautifully he taught me. And sometime some lectures were going on Mandukya Karika or the Upanishad. So I told him, I said, Shastriji, why don't you come and attend the lecture? It is next to your room. He said, look here, I just cannot come and attend any satsang. You ask him Mahabharata, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, anything you ask, he can explain. But as regard attending the satsang and implementing in one's life, impossible. I said, what is the reason? Are you allergic to wisdom or what? He said, the moment I sit for listening to any text, my mind starts working only on the dissection of the words, which is the sandhi, which is the samas, whether it is a tatpurush samas or a matpurush samas, whether it is a bahuvrihi or karmadhare samas, whether this is the first person or second person, whether this is ending in akaranta or it is a takaranta, and in that I get lost. And then my problem is, how this word has come here, it doesn't sound correct according to the Panini grammar. In Bhagavad Gita you will come across many places wherein the words used by Bhagwan Krishna are not according to Panini grammar. He said, I get frustrated. How come Bhagwan Sri Krishna has used the wrong grammar? So it is something like a person who is a professional proofreader, he can never read the subject. Because the moment he starts reading, immediately pencil comes out. It is a habit. In the same manner, we get caught up in one standpoint in our life. And when we get caught up in our standpoint, we refuse to understand the standpoint of others. So when Dhritarashtra was told, he very clearly confessed. Friends, confession is not a solution. Please understand. We become angry with our people at home, left and right, like wild rabid dogs. And afterwards, I am so sorry. That sorry has no meaning. See, when you confess, it is not a solution. Please understand. If you have confessed and if you are not changed, you are a habitual criminal. Therefore, when Dhritarashtra, one character, he was so much attached to the worldly things, he just refuses to take any other standpoint. And what is the standpoint we should take with reference to the worldly thing that we are holding on? You must have all read the Gita Sar. Very beautiful. With what we have come in this world? Nothing, absolute naked. When we go back the same way, and we imagine everything is mine, I have earned. Terrible. Therefore, friends, unless we expand our vision beyond the point of birth and death, we will hold on to this gross world and just go little beyond yourself. Your parents, that time you were small, and daddy and mummy, because the daddy is earning and is very strong-minded, and we the children shivering all the time. Now slowly the time has gone through. Now he has become old, dilapidated, and now you are the earning member, and now look at him. Discipline, I don't like this, I don't like that. Now he himself is so much paralyzed that he himself cannot conduct himself. But see, that time the arrogance that he had, the same story is repeated in everybody's life. Wise people learn from others. Otherwise, don't learn even from God. So the moment you take this view of this world, a lot of load from your mind will be unloaded. First principle. Now, to stabilize this principle in our life, that we no more get influenced by the worldly gains and loss. The most important thing is we have to inquire where from this attraction, attachment to the worldly things come. Then we will come to know that the moment we are identified with our gross body, from that very moment onward, this gross world starts becoming important and valuable for us. This is the point. This is the time. In our deep sleep experience, very simple thing. Even if you do, this is called in our Vedanta technically as avasthatraya viveka. Discrimination on the point of your experience in the three stages. The waking, the dream and the deep sleep. So if you analyze your own experience, you don't have to believe. It is not a hearsay. We will not say, if you don't believe, you will go to hell. No, don't go to hell. Create hell for yourself here. Why go there? So how we begin? So the moment we get identified, the whole world is a problem for us. In deep sleep, we are not identified with our gross body. Result is what? That time we are neither husband nor wife. That time we are neither young nor old. All the problems pop up the moment you get identified with your gross body. So to overcome this problem of attachment to the worldly things and beings, our attention should be, when we are living in this world, how are we living? Are we taking our identification with the gross body so serious that it is true? Or we live like Bhagwan Sri Krishna? That is why there is only one way which can dissolve all your problems. Only one way. No second way. And that one way is take everything as the divine play. When you take everything as divine play, the most important thing that happens is you transcend the limitation of cause and effect. The moment you transcend the effect, this limitation of cause and effect, you have conquered your own intellectual bondage. We are all bound to that. And then we start imagining, I am so intelligent, mothers particularly. For the mothers, every child, every foolishness is the wisdom. So, one mother asked me, Swamiji, my child is so intelligent and he asks so funny questions, I can't reply. I said, Amma, don't fool yourself, he is your child, you told. How can he be intelligent? And then, if he is asking questions, how he can be intelligent? Ignorant people ask questions. Suppose I have come on the Pedder Road and I don't know where is Babulnath temple. So I'll ask, hey, Babulnath temple jana hai, kaise jana hai? Why did I ask? Because I am ignorant, not I am intelligent. Think. And therefore, when we really want to get out of this gross world and the problems of the gross world, hit at the root. See, these days I am enjoying my grain. Your grain is different, my grain is different. So I am enjoying my grain 24 hours a day. Very comfortably goes on, wonderful experiences, divine experiences. So, when one Ayurvedic doctor talked to me, the beauty of these Ayurvedic fellows is, they catch hold of your hand and see the pulse. And what is the beauty of the allopathic? They catch hold of your hand and see the pulse. R is converted into L, L is converted into R. Anyway, sarve bhavantu sukhina. So, he saw everything and told, something is wrong with your central province. Madhya Pradesh is something wrong. So anything that I will take as a symptomatic treatment for curing my headache, it will be useless, whatever I may do. So why don't you tie down? I said, I had done every kind of thing. Nothing is spared. So unless this cause is changed, this will continue to be. In the same manner, attachment to the worldly objects, attachment to the worldly possessions can be cured only when you have learned this basic etiological factor as responsible for this. And what is this basic factor? Our identification with the gross body. This is what is called as Dhritarashtra, and he was blind. We have caught hold of our body as I blindly. There is no logic in that. And we consider ourselves to be very intelligent. What is the logic that this body can be I and mine? No logic. Have we created this body? We are not created. Somebody else created the body and we simply slipped in, and now we say, this is mine. Rent Control Act. Isn't it? We are merely the tenants in this body, nothing else. And yet we start living and we think about logic and argument. What logic argument? It is the height of foolishness that humanity can climb. Therefore, the first problem which Dhritarashtra is presented in the first chapter of Gita is this. Now the second problem about attachment. Attachment to activity. Attachment to activity makes us be very attentive, makes us run away ourselves from ourselves. Very, very important. As it is important to be active in life, it is equally important that you have the freedom to withdraw and keep quiet. Otherwise, we can do like this. We drive the car fast, jump the red light, and when the police says, don't you have driving license? Yes, Pandurang Rao, we have got a driving license. You know, Indians are so spiritual. The other day, one person asked me from US or somewhere, what is the difference between our Western religion, Christianity, and your Eastern religion, Hinduism? I said, see, the difference is, Christianity takes you to materialism very simply. How it is, if you are a Christian, you will go to the heaven. Like, life hai jahan, tandurusti hai wahan. And what the Hinduism does? Hinduism, Ganesh Bidi. So imagine, Ganesh ji must be turning in his sides, Rama, I have never smoked and my daddy smoked, that I agree, but not me. See? So, even the material aspect is spiritualized and the spiritual aspect is materialized. See? So, when we have to get involved too much in this work without the freedom to withdraw, what happens? So when this Pandurang Rao police has caught hold of, he asked, don't you have driving license? Yes, I have. Why did you jump? Why didn't you stop on the red light? Can I give him this argument? I have a driving license. I don't have a stopping license. Can we say that? No. Driving includes the stopping of the car also. In the same manner, involvement in the world with lots of activity also means the freedom to withdraw from the world. And when this does not happen, we the elders create problems for the next generation. In many houses, this is a perpetual problem. The elders do not want their next generation to live with their way. So you have lived, you have produced calamities, now they have grown, now they have also produced calamities, let them handle, why you get involved? But Swamiji, is it not the other day, there was some problem in some family. The problem was the son wants to get married to somebody and the parents don't want. Swamiji, what we should do? I said, do one thing. Both of you, husband and wife, again go to the court and get married once more. Whatever he or she wants, they will do it, is it not? They are listening to you? No. Why don't you stand apart? And don't stand apart with a frustration, bitterness. Stand apart with a smile, confidence, cheer and joy. Beta, go ahead. We are always with you. And if something goes wrong, don't feel bad. You can always come back. Why not have that magnanimity of a grown-up, mature person with wisdom? But we want everything to happen according to our thing. Friends, things don't happen what we want. When we don't understand this, then they got married. After this I told, okay Swamiji, if you tell, we allow this. I said, I am not telling anybody. If somebody has to ask me, I say, don't get married. Because I can advise only before marriage. After the accident has taken, you can have only insurance, not assurance. Assurance is before accident. So, when this happens, the result is, we start getting frustrated. Then the same parents came, Swamiji, I told you, they'll get married and start fighting. This is what has started. I said, then you do one thing. You take harmonium, let your husband take a tabla and play Jugalbandi. Why you become miserable? Swamiji, we can't see my son being miserable. I said, Amma, you are fooling yourself. Your happiness is what? Your happiness is whatever I want. If that is done by my son, then I am happy. Please be very careful in this understanding. And such people who are getting involved in everybody's life to such an extent that they have no freedom to withdraw. Now what happens? When the time comes, then either the son or the daughter or daughter-in-law or the grandchild starts staring straight away to this old man. In one place I went, and about 20 years before, and some program was going on. And the young child, grandchild, maybe class 8 or 7, he was watching something. And the grandfather came and he wanted to change something that day. This child shouted, Grandpa, shut up, you understand nothing about TV, keep yourself away. So, grandfather went and said, he said, don't touch my TV. Kept quiet. And then his son, that means child's grandson's father, he was observing. I was also there. So he told me, Swamiji, now look at my dad. How implicitly he is listening. And for us, he was a carer. See, now the child has straight away told, what you don't understand, don't get into. But because we are aged, old, grown up, age is not the criteria of wisdom. Wisdom is, you kick the world before the world kicks you. That is the wisdom. Such a person alone can be dynamic and yet not suffer because of his own actions and activities. Another case about this, there was one boy and a girl got married, two beautiful children, and very happy going. That boy told me, Swamiji, if something called as heaven is there, I am there already. I have got such a sweet wife, beautiful children, good job, excellent health, what more do you want? I said, I don't want anything, be happy. Next day he comes and phones. Swamiji, I want to have some private meeting with you. I said, no, you are in Swarga, be Swargavasi. Let me remain on the earth. He said, no, Swamiji, please. Then he came. Started crying. And his argument was, Swamiji, I don't know. Suddenly she told on phone, from this evening onwards I am not coming home. I have taken an apartment. Legally I have to stay 1 year away from you. Keep the children with you. I want my freedom. American style. This happened in the USA. And now this young boy or man with 2 children and nobody to look after. Immediately he has to phone his parents, they came back and all kinds of things. And every day these fellows cry. So I told him, Bengal pehen lo, chudiya pehen lo. I said, your wife is intelligent than you. She has kicked you, therefore she is the master of the ceremony. And you have got the kick, therefore you are the watchman of the ceremony. Decide whether you want to be the master of your life. You will be the master of your life if you have the freedom to withdraw from the world before the world has to force you. When this does not happen, Duryodhana is born in us. And then such a person, Madarte Chatta Jivitaha. Then everybody is living for my sake, my sake. One very successful big industrial house, that man has really brought up, came from nowhere, out of nothing, big empire he built. Very dynamic, very creative, very intelligent, very disciplined. Now children are born. Children are grown, they are also in the same industry with the father. But both the sons, both the daughter-in-laws and the grandchildren, they don't want to look at the grandfather. The reason is, every time, when I was young, I have done this thing. You people do nothing. Friends, be very attentive. When you do good to somebody, never speak. तुम्हारे लिए इतना किया है, इतना किया है. Who cares? Who told you to do? Therefore, do good and forget. And when we are not able to discard whatever good we have done, because of that goodness alone, we come under the pressure. In one family, the mother was telling me, Swamiji, can you believe what my son told me? I said, yes, you must have persecuted him with something or the other. I know you are always on the youngster side. I said, okay, what happened? When he was, studying in all that, failed once, we did this thing, that thing. And one day only I told, we have done so much for you and you don't do anything. So he told me, who told you to produce me? So it is your product now, you take care of, I enjoy. What I should do? I said, if you have guts, kick him out of your house and let him live. Swamiji, you can say that I like his kicks and enjoy. Keep this freedom with you. Get involved in the world, at the same time have the wisdom to withdraw from the world. Otherwise, a Duryodhana is born. And such a Duryodhana, a big banyan tree, does not allow any other plant sapling to grow below that. The children of such a big person, they become bonsai. They become arrested in their growth. You can prune the plants or the trees. You should never cut their roots. In bonsai culture, you all must be knowing, there are many roots. One is the main root and others are the secondary, tertiary roots. So in this development of the bonsai culture, what they do, they cut the main root and then below they keep this calcium oxide or calcium carbonate, so that the root cannot go beyond that. It is burned there itself, and then it is not allowed to die, nor it is allowed to go deeper, so that the roots are strong. As a result, a bonsai is born. And when a bonsai is born, how cute! This is what we look at our children. My children are so sweet. I tell them, beta, get up. Mummy, mummy. Papa, papa. How long, mummy, mummy, papa, papa? Are we not going to be men or women? All the time, mummy, mummy, papa, papa. Therefore, friends, keep this freedom. Otherwise, we will use everybody for our sake and don't allow anybody to grow. Second problem. Now, the third problem that we have seen in this first chapter, Our too much of attachment to the so-called goody-goodiness and our relations. If you want to grow spiritually, keep yourself away and free from your relatives. Please remember, relatives cannot give you absolute happiness. Why? Because they are relatives. If they were absolute, then they can give you absolute, isn't it? So they are relatives, they can never give you happiness. See, in this Swaminarayan Sampradaya, I like that Sampradaya very much. Those who become sadhu, their sannyasis are called as sadhus. They have got 5 rules. One of the rule is, they should not put on stitched clothes as I put on, only unstitched clothes, so lungi and angavastra. One. Second thing, when they take food, they have to mix the whole food together, put little water, make a slurry and drink it to conquer the taste of tongue. Then the third thing, they are not supposed to touch money. So they don't handle money, etc. The fourth thing is, they are not supposed to look at the ladies and talk to the ladies. And the fifth is, once they have taken the diksha, they have no reason to contact their any relatives over phone, over email, over letter or through somebody. See? Very important. So if we really want to progress on a spiritual path, remember, all of us have come here alone and we have to live our life alone and we have to die our death alone. Then how should we relate ourselves? Relate with understanding, wisdom and not with biasness. Arjuna's problem was, Swajanam hi katam hatva syama madhava. Killing was not the problem, the biasness in favor of our near and dear, that was the problem. And therefore, the moment you get influenced by this kind of biasness, what happens is the Arjunitis. You know, the diseases in your allopathy are called as, like gingivitis, stomatitis. So this is called as Arjunitis. And in this Arjunitis, we suffer because our thinking faculty is inflamed. Any part with inflammation is called as tis. So this Arjunitis will inflame our understanding. And in that inflammation, we cannot think coolly and we cannot assess the situation perfectly. Now, out of these 3 characters attached, one to the world, gross world, second to the activity, and third to the near and dear in terms of ours and not ours. When these 3 things are there, out of these 3 things, those who are attached to this gross world, they don't care. Like Dhritarashtra. The second one, those who are attached to the activity, workaholic people, they don't have time to think. Now the third category, they start thinking. Those who start thinking and imagine that they know the art of thinking, they are on the wrong path. Friends, if the thoughts erupt in the mind, that does not mean we are thinking. Eruption of thought is not under our control. Think. Because the car is rolling on the road, that does not mean somebody is driving. Maybe the hand brake was left and it was slow and it is going. Because the car is going by itself. That is not called as the driving of a car. In the same manner, uncontrolled thought, eruption and process, that does not mean we are thinking. But what we do, we take that to be the thinking process. And this is how those people who do not have the ability to arrest their thinking process, those who do not have the ability to control their thinking process, they become victim of their own thoughts. And then they start justifying, then they start taking decisions. When they know very well, Brahmati vache me vanaha, Arjuna said, I am not in a position to think properly. So if you are not in a position to think properly, why do you take decisions? Therefore, one of the most important things for everybody, whether we are youngsters, teenagers, middle age, and not so old, and people call me old, as a different category. All this, everybody requires this faculty of taking decisions. And this faculty of taking decisions, if we do not develop, we become weaklings in life. And then such people want to go every now and then to the psychiatrist. And what the psychiatrist does? He takes a decision. You will have 3 more cities. This is, and then this fellow has got somewhere to hang on to. Therefore, how to take perfect decision? This is the crux and the approach given in Bhagavad Gita, which is required for everybody. Now, if we have to take a decision, what are the ingredients that go into taking of a correct decision? First thing, whenever we look at a situation with a biased mind, without the readiness and the ability to change our angle of perception, what we perceive is not right. And if we had accepted that our perception had some myopic effect, we are not able to understand correctly. Therefore, go to a person who knows the things correctly. There is no need that you take the decision till you are qualified. One day, one young boy asked me this question. Swamiji, always there is a problem about deciding. I don't know how to decide the thing. And by the time I decide, it is too early for the next life. This is one of the reasons why many people get married late. Not able to decide. Only they have to get married, then they continue, and when their blood is boiling, there is no problem. But when after the boiling of the blood, when the fumes start coming, and then, akele kaise rahe? I remember one old lady asked me, Swamiji, don't mind, very old lady, loving, don't mind. I know you are a sannyasi, you will not get married, but you get married. I said, Amma, you are too old for me. No, not with me. I thought you are suggesting proposing or what? She said, you know why I am telling you? In old age, who will look after you? I said, Amma, you also got married, so that that man will look after you. But he has already deceived you, and he has already died and gone. Now, who is looking after you? See? These kinds of biasness, when it overpowers our thinking, we cannot go the right way. So to that young boy, when he asked me this kind of question, I told him, look here, if you want to learn the art of taking decisions, try this and be sincere. What is that? Get up in the morning, fresh bath and all that, sit before the altar of your reverence, and sit quiet and then talk to the Lord in your mother tongue, in your language, whichever you are convenient. Don't go with the Sanskrit. Tvameva mata pita, tvameva bandhuscha, tvameva bandhuscha. You cannot talk to somebody by the borrowed vocabulary. You have to hear your own vocabulary. So you talk to the Lord in simple terms. He doesn't require poetry. He is not the audience sitting there for listening to the bhajan sandhya. No. He understands everything. So talk to him in your mother tongue. Oh Lord, this is the problem. I am unable to decide whether to take this alternative or that alternative. Keep quiet. And whatever is the first prompting that you hear from your inner voice, hold on to that. Don't change. May what happen? At the most what will happen? You will go wrong once, twice, thrice, 4 times. But this 4 times going wrong will give you inner strength. And the fifth time, when you will be able to take the decision without biasness of influence from the outer world, then you have learned the art of taking decisions. Like a child does. How a child starts walking? The art of walking, the child knows, not we. So the child, every child has got his own unique method of learning. There is no standardization in that. So some children start like Bhagavan Krishna, pulling themselves on the knees. Some children sit on one side of the leg and with the other side they start pasak, they start pulling themselves. Some children start crawling as if they are swimming in the water. And some children don't do anything, and mother who gets hurt. Everybody has got his own way. And once the child has tasted the joy of walking, then slowly, one step he will walk and fall down. He doesn't give up. Then again he tries, he falls. He catches hold of some table and the tablecloth and everything crockery comes on his head and starts crying. What is all this? Only one thing. He wants to learn the art of walking. And one day he catches in the same manner. If you want to take decisions, discover your inner voice and surrender to him. In English it is called as conscience. So when you function in this world with the voice of your conscience, you will always be on the right track. But for that, you have to have the courage. No, it is true, Swamiji, आप जो बोलते हैं ना वो लेक्चर के लिए ठीक है. But if you don't allow strictness in your house, your sister-in-law, your daughter-in-law will make a chutney out of you. No, you have to. That means you have given more importance to the world and not something higher. So, this ability to take the decisions when it is not there, what we do? In a hurry-burry, in a disturbed mind, we decide something. Like, in one place where I don't remember, there was a mother, she compelled her children to go for medical. Children are not interested. No, you have to. Push. So somehow or the other pass through. Now after that, no, you must go also for specialization. Again pump money and from force behind, change. They did their full graduation. After coming, I don't have interest in any practice. I like to play tabla. After studying for 28 years of medicine, that child has zero interest in that field. And from the mother's point of view, I have done so much for the children. What you have done? You have made a robo out of the child. You didn't allow the child to grow. You prune. Don't make a bonsai. The result is the child is not able to decide anything. There was another case I know closely. Now the child is no more. When he was staying with his father, mother separated and the father was looking after the child. And the child was all the time holding on, hanging on to the papa, 24 hours. Because there is nobody, not even a pet in the house. Now, when he is to sit for study, papa has to sit next to him. And then he will do 2 plus 2, 4. Papa, is it correct? Ha, beta is correct. Then 3 plus 5, 8. Is it papa correct? Papa. 7 plus 1. Is it correct? Yes, correct. Slowly, he developed a faculty. Unless Papa says it is right, he cannot decide anything. Imagine. Therefore, let the children grow. Let them make mistakes. Let them fall down. Let them have some wounds. Then only they will grow into a strong personality. Otherwise, we create only cartoons out of them. So, to take decision is one of the most essential faculties that every one of us must have. Now, for taking decisions, what is required is not a disturbed mind. Only a calm and quiet and composed and well-disciplined mind alone can evaluate the situation perfectly and then take the decision. For example, you have seen, those who are driving the car, they have to decide in a fraction of a second whether they have to take little right, little left and then something or the other. And at that time, if somebody is not able to take the right decision, the ultimate is an accident. Now, who can be a perfect driver? He who has full control of the vehicle, one. Second thing, his mind is totally calm and comfortable. If somebody what he thinks about others and you go on that, bang somewhere. Because vehicle may be under your control, but your mind is not under your control. Therefore, if we really want to learn the art of taking decisions in life, first, understand the importance of this. All of us have to decide for ourselves. Never take decision for others. After telling the whole Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, at the end, Bhagwan in clear terms tells Arjuna, Arjuna, whatever is to be told, I told you. Now, you analyze and you decide. Decision will be yours. No wise man takes decision for others. Otherwise takes decision for everybody. And once we start that faculty in us, you will see your perception, your understanding, your interaction will become so subtle. Then be very attentive. Such a person is growing within. In Yoga Shastra, it is called as Rutambhara Prajna. Such a person develops a faculty which is called as a faculty of taking decisions intuitively. When you work on the plane of intuitive understanding, you have transcended the limitations of cause and effect. And how do we begin? This is the technique. So learn to be cool under all conditions. And if you are not, don't take any decision. But if you have to take decision, go to the wise man who will guide you. And then hold on to that. You will see slowly, you will develop that faculty of taking decisions. And when we don't have this ability of taking decisions correctly, then what we do? We decide something or the other. And then we are not confident about our own decisions. So when I am not confident about my decision, what will I do? First of all, I will start justifying. This habit of justification is nothing but lack of confidence. We don't have to justify anything to anybody in this whole world. If you are working in tune with your concerns, let anybody say anything. But if you are pure, if you are in tune with your concerns, you don't have to justify anything to anybody on any count. Such a person alone can grow spiritually. But those who take the decisions under the influence of piousness, the moha, the delusion, like Arjuna has done, then he started lots and lots of arguments, lots and lots of justification. And to justify, he started quoting the scriptures like devil quoting the scriptures. Very, very important. It is not, scriptures are not meant for firing a share in the discussions in various big gatherings. The other day I was in some big party somewhere and I was sitting and enjoying. So somebody said, Swamiji, speak something. I said, no, I have been speaking. Here I have come to eat. So one thing at a time I do. So here I will only eat, no speaking. You speak. Okay, Swamiji, please correct us if we go wrong. I said, all right. And then they started discussion about spirituality. See, we go to Swamiji, we listen so many things. And one sloka of Bhagavad Gita I like very much. One man was. He said, Bhagavad Gita very clearly tells, Mana eva manusyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. So, although I have decided not to talk, but there was a volcano in my stomach. I said, Mahatmaji, stop, stop, stop. Which is your edition? Is it like a New Testament, New Bhagavad Gita? This verse nowhere appears in Bhagavad Gita. Oh, मुझे लग रहा था everything good is only in Bhagavad Gita. Look here. So when we take these scriptures or understanding, it is not for entertainment, it is not for passing time, it is not for exhibition of our erudition and scholarship, it is for practicing in life. When Arjuna thus started, all the scriptures are quoted. For what? For learning ourselves or deceiving others. The highest delusion in this world is when a fool considers himself to be wise and thereafter take the position of guiding others. This is what our Kathopanishad, Mundakopanishad tells. Avidyayam antare vartamana. They themselves are rooted in ignorance and foolishness. Avidyayam antare vartamana. It doesn't make any difference if you are a fool, but swayam dhiraha panditam manyamana. Problem comes from there. They start thinking themselves to be wise and super wise. The moment you start yourself thinking that, what happens? Immediately you take a position of a leader and you want to teach others. Friends, teaching mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology doesn't require any spiritual practice. It is only at the level of your prakriti, matter, the intellect. But when it comes to the spiritual knowledge, it is not the objective thing to be given like that. One day I was taking lectures on this Kundalini Yoga. So one person came and asked me, Swamiji, I have got a big chart about the various chakras and all that. So will you like me to bring so that you can teach Kundalini Yoga? I said, you know what will happen? What will happen? That picture and that person who is seated in that picture, when I will start awakening one by one chakra, that person will walk away. You will remain here. This spiritual life or science has to be subjective. It should never be objective. And if you want to be subjective, you have to have a different faculty. And what is that faculty? Ability to remain cool and composed in the wake of any situation. And when this does not happen, like Arjuna, we start quoting the scriptures and change the topic. So our foolishness is hidden under the wisdom of the scriptures, only by quotation. And such a person becomes Arjuna. Now, in this very analysis, last point, most important. If somebody is a drunkard, he can understand drinking is bad, it should be left. If somebody is a thief, he can understand one day theft is bad, he may leave it. But a person who is leading the spiritual life, going for Satsang, taking the mala in the hand, Ram, 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 eating the head of my Rama, and anybody coming giving some dakshina. Now for that person, there is no possibility even to imagine that he has to improve upon himself. Because he has already taken for granted that I have already become the best person. And such people are their own enemies. Therefore, if any Mahatma wants self-destruction, there are two techniques. Have an ashram, collect the devotees and the disciples. They will put you on, in your Marathi language, harbaryaचं झाड. They will put you on the gram plant And then that Mahatma starts thinking, so many people come and do namaskar to me, and so many of them are appreciating me, probably I have to be somebody great. Think. And then such persons become victims of their own creation. Now who will teach him? There was one great master. To him, one person came from other country, South Africa, and that person was also some Swamis like that. He came and phoned, I am so and so, and I want to have private audience with you. So this Fakir Mahatma, he said, in our place there is nothing like private and special. Everybody comes and sits below the tree, you also come and join. Now he has his position. I am the Mahamandaleshwar, I have got so many disciples, and I never move without a car, because I am Bekar. Be means Gujarati Be. 2 car I have got. One stolen and one taken. And this is what is my prestige, my position. How can I, like this, go to a Mahatma who is simply sitting below a tree and talking to all the illiterates the language of the cowherds? It became a barrier for him, and that barrier did not allow him to go and learn from a real master. See, therefore friends, the limitation of the tamo guna, attachment to the matter, we may conquer one day. Limitation to the activity, attachment to rajo guna, we may conquer someday. But limitation to this goody-goodiness, attachment to the sattva guna is very, very difficult to conquer. Such people use all their knowledge and wisdom to prove their point of view. And when you argue and prove, what is the result? One more feather of a crow. Not a peacock feather. That fellow came, I had defeated him. How long this defeating and winning is going to be there? And therefore, friends, if we have to protect ourselves from ourselves, let us understand this tripod stand. 3. Are we getting too much attached to the worldly matters, getting too much lost in the worldly activities, or getting too much lost in our own self-glorification? If this is not corrected, we will be talking the language of Arjuna. Now what is Arjuna's language? He was telling that if this thing is not checked, the war is not checked, so many things will happen. And where from all these things has come? Only projection, imagination, imagination. Friends, imagination has no end. You can go on imagining, projecting anything. And for that we don't require preparation. You go on imagining. The story comes, Bhagavan Shankaracharya's Bhashya somewhere. There was a young brahmachari, summer days, very hot, so he went and sat on a tree, which was just above the Ganges, cool. Afternoon time, taken food, and just, somehow sitting comfortably, and sleep also coming, holding on to that branch. He saw 2 ladies coming for washing clothes or taking water. One was young, one was old. Now he started. It is not necessary that after brahmacharya we have to go to sannyas. Because brahmacharya is followed by grahasthashram. And if I have to get married, I think that small one is good for me. And they started. And then I think when I get married to her, I am not going to have a long planning that we will not have children. No, in the first year we must have a child. And thereafter, when we will be sleeping, I think the child will sleep between me and her. And then, suppose the child does something or wants more space, I know she will push me and he falls in the river. See, the mind has such a terrible trick. It goes on projecting and imagining. Now, this is what uncontrolled thinking has resulted to this condition for Arjuna. So he started imagining, Utsanna kula dharmana manushyanam janardana narake aniyatam vata bhavati iti anushishrama. We have heard if the next generation is the generation of the unclaimed children, such unclaimed children will never do anything for their parents, departed ones. And then what will happen? Such people in whose society Kula Dharma, Shraddha Karma, etc. is discarded, they go to hell forever. This is what we have heard in the various Satsanga where we have gone. Now, he has thus concluded his imaginary projection about the situation. And then, patting himself, Aho vata mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yad rajya sukhalobhena hantum sajanam uttita. Aho vata mahat papam. Hey, we were just to commit the terrible sin of our life. It's good we have not yet started the war. Because what for we are having this war? Yad rajya sukhalobhena. Only for the greed for the kingdom and the comfort. We do not want to even hesitate to kill our nears and dears. Therefore, now the goody-goody decision of a coward in the words of philosophy. Cowards take refuge to philosophy, and the wise live the philosophy in their life. So, he says, Mama pratikaram ashastram shastrapanaya dhatra karane hanyuhu tanme kshemataram bhavet. If in this whole process, even if the Kauravas come and kill me, but I have decided that it is better to die here, being slaughtered by the Kauravas, but I will not fight the war. And thus he felt, thank God wisdom came on me, or else I don't know what mistake I would have committed in my life. Now, whenever the lecture is over, or whenever the Bhajan Sandhya or some performance is over, what is expected by the speaker or the singer? Is oh, it was a Niagara of wisdom, all were destroyed. And then the speaker says, Kache Guru ka chela nahi. This is what Arjuna expected. What a beautiful analysis. How goody thought. He expected that Bhagwan Krishna will appreciate Arjuna. I never knew you are such a genius. You have studied all the scriptures. You know all the Dharma Shastra, and I never knew anything about it. Thank you so much for updating me in this field also. But all this did not happen. Then Sanjay Vacha, Sanjay is telling the Dhritarashtra with the conclusion of the first chapter, Ema Mukta Arjuna Sankhe Rathopastupa Vijat Visprujya Sasaram Chapam Shoka Samvigna Manasaha. Be very attentive. When you have taken a decision, and if you don't remain at home and comfortable with you, then you have taken a wrong decision. You know that, but you don't accept it. Therefore, Arjuna has taken a decision. It's good we are not going to fight the war. Then be happy. But he became frustrated. Shoka samvigna manasaha. Friends, when decision is born out of wisdom, you are on the top of the world. When the decision is born out of delusion, you are under the pressure of your own decisions. Very important thing. There was one boy and a girl got married. And whatever may be the reason, probably the boy has to say yes to that girl under the pressure from the parents, etc. Got married. All right, oh. Now, after the marriage, he said, I don't want her. Why? I never liked. Then why did you say yes? You didn't allow me to think. So you wanted her, you keep her. I don't want her. Now see, if you decide with wisdom, you will be proud of your decision and you will hold on to that with cheer and happiness. But if you take a decision, no, mummy told me to get married and therefore I got married and now I am suffering, but I am not responsible, somebody else is responsible. Such kind of weaklings are worthy of being erased, rubbed out from this world. Our Darwinananda Maharaj says, survival of the fittest. If you want to live in this world, be fit to take proper decisions. And if you take proper decisions, you will never regret in your life. Friends, 2 points in old age make a person miserable. Point number 1. When we are regretting our own past decisions, I wish I should not have married to her. Isn't it? But it is too early for the next life. And that one wrong decision that you have taken, suffer throughout life. And second thing, I wish I should have done that which I have not done. Then suffer. So these are the 2 pangs of unwanted commission because of the inability to take the right decision and the omitting that which was to be done. These 2 things make us suffer in our old age. Therefore, friends, we all have to learn the art of taking decisions under the light of wisdom, not under the compulsion of a situation. Whenever we take a decision under the compulsion of a situation, we are victimized by our own decisions. But when you take the decision under the light of wisdom, you enjoy your life till the last moment. Therefore, it is very essential for all of us to learn from this first chapter, Arjuna's character. We all have to learn to take decisions. Decisions cannot be taken in a hasty manner. You require a proper instrument. And the proper instrument can be there if you have kept yourself cool. Don't get carried away by the things. Keep your understanding perfect. No biasness should overpower our faculty of thinking. With that unbiased, pure mind, when you live in this world, you have the guts to say or call a spade and a diamond a diamond. But when we have trained ourselves to appropriate and misappropriate at every stage, we have created such a situation in our mind that we are victimized by our own wrong thinking. Now when this happened, Eva Mukva Arjuna Sankhe Rathopastu Upavishad. He just sat down virtually. Rathopastu Upavishad means he sank. And then how Visrujya Sacharam Chapam. He has thrown away. What thrown away? It slipped from his hand. The bow and the arrows. And Shoka Samvigna Manasaha. 3 conditions. First, his ability to stand and fight gone. Second thing, the ability to hold on to the instrument, that is gone. And third thing, the ability to be cheerful and happy, that is gone. A miserable man can never be successful in life. If you want to be successful, be happy and cheerful. No compromise. Then alone you can really grow materially as well as spiritually. So in reply to this situation, what happened? With this we conclude the first chapter of Gita, and now the situation is further analyzed in the second chapter. Second chapter is so beautiful. There Bhagavan will start taking the patient suffering from Arjunitis and start giving him various kinds of treatments. And all those treatments are excellent for every one of us. What is that? How is that? We'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate